My name is Jacob Holdaway, and I'm a candidate for Vineyard City Council. Wanted to share my background, my professional background, and what I've done over the course of my 18-year career, and how I feel it best positions me to help steer Vineyard into the future. I started my career milking cows here in Vineyard when I was like 8 or 9 years old. And to be honest with you, I think that background gave me more government experience or work experience than anything else I ever did. And I milked cows until I was 19 years old, together with my grandpa and my dad here on Holdaway Road, until I went on my mission. When I came home from my mission, I started to work for the public group, and together with the National Institute of Government Procurement, and tried to teach and taught city, county, and state how to do electronic procurement. At that time, feeling a little bit old here, but they were doing paper procurement. To give you background, cities and counties have to fulfill with the public disclosure laws and give an equal opportunity to all vendors. And they were doing this in a paper-based system through requests for proposals. And at that time, we were transitioning to how to fulfill with that online. And that process taught me a lot about government, about how influence and lobbying can really corrupt good government practices and how they can go around things. And that gave me the opportunity to travel the country, going to all 50 states, in teaching various cities and counties. Okay, if you're going to be selecting a vendor or a contractor or working with a developer, how do you have a fair and equitable process? How are they going to be taking advantage of you? What are some things that you need to be looking for? And quite honestly, to be cautious, check, double check, triple check on the contracts, and make sure your employees feel confident in pushing back and protecting the citizens' money. From there, and learning about procurement, I switched over to a different product line and started working for public surplus, still at the public group. This is how to teach cities and counties and states an equitable process of how to dispose of their assets. From there, I learned about the best of budgeting, mistakes in budgeting in cities and counties, the wastefulness of it. So many times city and county make mistakes and they just get rid of it. And quite honestly, that every vendor is going to come and tell you that you got to buy something, and how cities and counties just need to say, is this really something that we need? There is so much waste. I've closed probably over 100 city and county malls in downtown areas where developers or different things told cities. I mean, look at it even here in Utah. Provo Mall is closed, and everyone just a decade ago was saying, oh, this is going to be big. And other cities and counties have done multiple things saying, oh, the future is this. And I think that's what's one of the things that scares me is I'm the auctioneer. I've seen the receipts and I know just bad things are presented, and seeing those through the auction process. Got to travel to about 30 states for that, visiting the NACO, or National Association of County Chapters. And each one of those conferences, it's a 2 or 3 day process where you're bringing in all the elected officials at the city and county. And the National League of Cities has chapters as well, like Utah Cities and Towns. And they're bringing in all of the best experiences of what a city is doing good, and then also what a city is failing, or how they got taken advantage of, or how lobbyists came in and corrupted or outside influences. And some of the things I learned there is that there are a lot of outside influences in a city or county. Powerful people try to come in and do certain things to cities and counties, and that might not be bad, but in the vast majority, it's not listening to citizens, and it's allowing them to come in and corrupt or get to elected officials to circumvent a very good government process. And so that 10 years of experience really just opened my eyes, and really not only that, but seeing the 3,069 counties in America and understanding that all of them are just so unique. When they get to that uniqueness is really what makes America great. Then also visiting the 3,000 cities in America and going in and seeing how they operate as well, getting into the books of them. Obviously not seeing every city, but just seeing the basic best practices of them. And I think that's why my frustration is on Vineyard City is just how young we are, and being able to question a few things. From there, I was in one of the first founding groups of opening up the government team at Qualtrics. I worked there for 4 years, loved my experience selling and slinging software. However, it wasn't a good fit for me. Decided to go back to the public group and still work for them for the past 5 years. But also it got me into one of my passions. I know this is scary, but through my 18 years, I'm traveling the country, I realized that our nation's cities and counties were measuring their problems differently. And let me explain that. So every county and city would count like a crime rate, and they would make up their own definition or how in which they would count what is a crime, what isn't a crime, and how that was counted either quarterly or annually. Same thing with like mentally ill in a county jail, or tuberculosis, or childhood vaping, or school vaping, or all of these standards were not created. And I saw that through NACO and the National League of Cities, but I definitely saw that one in my time at Qualtrics. And this is about 2 years before COVID. And I thought that our nation needed a reset. I really believed that we needed to bring the brightest of minds in cities and counties together to develop an Academy of Science, to try to come up with the best way in which we measured these government problems. At that time, everyone was just going to their own city and county and developing every one of their measures, and we were not measuring the same. It's kind of like going to Home Depot and buying a tape measure, but having it blank, and having 3,000 counties do that. And it was a scary thing. So 4 years ago, putting all my retirement in with my wife, we founded the local health department Academy of Science. And I went out to all of my friends at NACO and the National League of Cities, and I said, hey, for this nation to move forward, we need to have a national library of these measurements. We need to stop putting them into random data silos, and we need to debate them for the public good. Those, and off of the back of those great pioneers, we founded and I still own 100% the Academy of Science, or the local health department Academy of Science. From that small founding group, we've gone from 100 in the first year to 200 to 450 this coming year. We will have over 750 counties that have recognized that it's important that not only that we make public measurements together and we debate them, we come together, but that we make them available to the public, and that we debate them publicly, and we try to find agreement on how these problems are measured. And so, yeah, I started that, and I'll share you I think from my website, but I'm very proud of fixing that across our nation and engaging the CDC. It's now something that is backed by the CDC, a program. And so also 4 years ago, I started to engage in Walk Our Way. Walk Our Way is a difficult problem. Most of the land, shore, or property around Utah Lake is owned by private landowners, has been in litigation for over 160 years. With my background in government, I organized the group together with other government officials and said, why can't we find a compromise? We have a mosquito problem, we have a fire problem, and I proposed the Walk Our Way project, or compromise. That actually got me into kind of the corruption. And I say that not lightly, but sadly, a lack of government processes that exist within our city, a lack of structure, and how much power our mayor has to be able to engage in a federal loan without the oversight of the previous council. Many of the things that I've taught over the past 18 years just were not in place. Basic things of government records or committees, or having enough oversight, or having the engineer, planning department, or others in sight to be able to get basic. We don't live in a queen where one person takes control. And I understand the vast majority of people might not get into the weeds or have a passion for the correct public process. But anyway, due to that experience, we put on hold the Walk Our Way process and compromise to try and and find out what was going on. And I'm hopeful that through this campaign, Sarah and I can create change and put a government process. There are so many things that have happened in our city where I've had citizens approach me and say, I don't understand this government process, or I've been told one thing here or one thing there. And it's been hard to even get to a public record because they're not easily accessible and whatnot. And so anyway, I believe that my experience has a time. I also know that I'm not semi-retired, but being the owner of the Academy of Science has allowed me and blessed my family to be able to have that part-time, to be able to put a lot of time into what I believe will be a large restructure and foundational change to our city to get it back to the way I believe it should be working, so that our citizens can engage it and they can know exactly what's going on, and that they can question and have public records and know exactly what's going on. So that's me in a nutshell, and you can engage me at any given time. My name is Jacob Holdaway, and I'm running for Vineyard City Council. Let's do this.